Oh.
Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Hey there, everybody. It's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards. Get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. It's Friday Night Lights, week 2. Doing it with my favorite people, Willie Walls and Odell Blocker. Willie Walls, my favorite Omega Sci-Fi. How you doing this morning?
We ready to go today.
I guess he's ready to go, Swami. What do you think? Are you ready to go week 2?
Sound like you ready to go, Doc, and so am I. Let's go, Sid.
All right, let's get it started for everybody. All right. I mentioned this yesterday, I think, on a show that I did with the Swami. We were on the Better Sports Network. I dropped a game here, but I don't think he liked it. I'll try it again, maybe for take 2. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers against the Saints, Swami. Can you find me a little love for this game, just a smidge, without Alvin Kamara?
Doc, I'm not able to see what you're seeing. I feel the excitement. I just don't. This isn't Drew Brees versus the old Bucks with Jameis Winston. This game has been a competitive game where both defenses have been giving trouble to both offenses. I'm not mad at it, though, because both offenses look great in week 1. I just think that this won't have the kind of fantasy goodness that I need to take down the tournament.
All right, Willie, do we agree with Swami or disagree?
Agreed. They lost 7 straight games. Tom Brady's move out. Lost another lineman last week. No, thank you. On both sides. No, thank you. The only possible one I told you is that the Johnson dude, the tight end at 2,500. Because he had 5 targets at 43 yards. But other than that, no, thank you.
All right. So Juwan Johnson, 2,500. We'll take a look at. All right. I got the team here. It's the Detroit Lions. They're playing the Washington Commanders, Willie Walls' favorite team. Is this a game that we want to stack? And if we do want to stack it, Willie, how would we go about doing it?
You definitely want to stack this game. This game has fantasy goodness in every position that you look at. Number one, let's talk about Mr. Brown, Amon St. Brown. Let's talk about this dude right here. This dude has been incredible. He has, in the last 7 games, he's had at least 10 targets and 7 catches. The last people to do that is Michael Thomas in 2019 and 2014. Brown, the Brown that used to play for Tampa Bay, that Brown. So that's the last guy that did it. And also, he's just scored in 5 straight games. This guy is in play for sure in this game. Then we could talk about Mr. Swift. Mr. Swift was electric, and they have a new blocking scheme that I love the way they do it now. Baldinger from NFL Network highlighted this. Their new blocking scheme is great, and the way they utilize Swift. And even though Swift, which I do not like because it's Jamal Williams, still took 2 touchdowns from him, but still, the guy had 175 yards and a touchdown, and when they have any game, the last 5 games that they had 48.5 points, he's got 29.5, 28.4, 23.7, 22.7, and he's going against the Commanders, okay? The defense. And then you go on the other side. Then you have Mr. And I don't like it. And I'm going to agree with Swami. I got to look at the quarterback. I got to look at the quarterback for the Detroit Lions. I will agree. And I got to look at, unfortunately, even though I think he's still cheeks of the ass and ass of the cheeks, I still got to look at Wentz. Mr. Wentz against bottom feeders. Unfortunately, the stats don't lie. He averages over 237 yards a game against bottom feeders, 66%. Damn. And then he averaged against the other guys, 190-something, like the guy I know, and he was ass. But in this game right here, he is. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Just like if you look at A.J. Brown, Mr. McLaurin was real quiet and got there late. But don't be surprised if Mr. McLaurin, because he fits that same mold, they had problems with guys going deep, and this Mr. McLaurin is the one that fit that mold. Even though we got the other 2 guys that people like, Samuel and Dotson, but I'm telling you, you got to look at Mr. McLaurin there. So There is fantasy goodness on both sides of the house. I love it. Go ahead, Swami. I'm sorry.
All right, Swami, let me before you go in, let's just say you like the Commanders this week. You got Gibson, who's looking sharp. Logan Thomas is back from injury. You've got McLaurin. You've got this kid Dotson. You've got Curtis Samuel. Swami, assuming you like the Commanders, how do you stack this game?
I think Gibson and McLaurin are my guys, but obviously, I still like the rookie because he's explosive. He's a big play guy. You saw they went to him in the red zone. So I'm not mad at Dotson. I think Thomas is going to have a better game this week. He might be a little bit more involved. He looks like he's getting there. So I don't think you can go wrong. But if you ask me, give me the two big pieces in a game that I think is going to shoot out.
So you go something like Swami Wentz, Gibson, McLaurin, and you come back with Amon-Ra St. Brown or Swift or both?
I'm actually interested in TJ as well, but I think I would probably, if I had to pick one, I would probably have to go with St. Brown. I'm not mad at both. I think
Willie,
both
can you stack both? Can you double stack both sides of this game?
I mean, you could game stack this game. And be honest with you, I think, I'm going to play a couple of lineups, a couple of variations, and I think I'm going to have one game stack because, you got to understand, Mr. Gibson, finally, the Commanders, the big dum-dums, they are dumb. They are dumb. This is my team, but I could talk about my team. This is like he talked about the Ravens. They are dumb. They some dumb rascals, but a light went on their head, and Mr. Gibson. They said, you know what, Mr. Gibson, you may be able to catch some balls for us. What did Mr. Gibson do? Oh, he only had 72 yards, 7 or 8 targets. Come on, dude. It's been available the whole time. And he rushed the ball. Gibson was a man of interest. And remember, last week what happened against the Detroit Lions? The Philadelphia running backs ran for over 147 yards and 3 TDs. Yes. Mr. Gibson is in play. Do not be stupid, Commanders. Get Gibson the ball. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
All right. I think Willie wants Gibson to get the ball. Okay, you know what I want? I want to see the Denver Broncos actually call a good game. I don't think I've seen a train wreck like that on Monday night in my entire life. The worst ending of a game, the worst coaching I have ever seen. But we've got some interest. We have some men of interest. We have Russell Wilson. We've got Javonte Williams, who caught, 10 or 11 passes out of the backfield. We've got Cortland Sutton. We've got Jerry Jeudy. We've got Albert O. On the other side, there's Damian Pierce and Brandon Cooks and maybe even a little Nico Collins. Swami, can you get behind this Broncos-Texans game?
Doc, you made it sound great. I'm telling you, Doc, you might have a future in used car sales because that game is not high on my radar, but it has some pieces. You can ask Walls. I was even playing with some bills that included some of these pieces, but I just cannot figure out where they're going to go. Again, bad play calling is like a virus. I don't see how anybody could say that they like what they saw in the red zone. They like what they saw between the 20s. I just don't know. I think Williams is going to be more involved. They might get Big Al involved here. They're talking about Alberto. I just don't know. They scared me so much week one with the play calling. But Wall seems to like Jeudy. I'm not mad at that. I think Sutton might, be able to do something this week. But on the other side of the ball, Houston, again, they find a way to be scrappy and kind of make things go. If their defense is going to show up, can the passing game get going? I just don't know, Doc. This one scares me a little bit.
What about you, Willie? Can you find some fantasy love in this one?
Yeah, you can. And this is the reason why. Now, remember, Russell Wilson, they play cover 2, cover 4. He eats it up. Russell Wilson does. So he eats cover 2, cover 4. Then you got to look at Jeudy. That's his baby too. Eats up 2, and you got a rookie on the other side. That's going to be on Sutton. So Russell Wilson those balls that he threw up against Seattle. Remember, Seattle knows Russell. Remember that. They know them. These guys, listen, Houston don't give a dang about Russell. They're gonna be back in Denver. So this game is not like that. I'm just telling you, Russell is going to have a game. And then I'll say this. I will say this. Coach, I'm gonna give him credit on one thing. He went on television and he said that he apologized for what happened the other day. That he blew it. That he should have gave Russell Wilson a chance. And this big dum-dum, if he don't get on the goal line, when they get on the goal line again and stop getting on that suck down and get in that personal 13, put 13 people on the line and give the ball to Javonte. Javonte Williams breaks tackles. Are you kidding me? This is one of the most dynamic guys who was number one and people missing tackles and you don't want to give him the ball. Javonte Williams will have a game this day. If this big dum-dum do not use him, he better use Javonte Williams. He is that shit going down, played Javonte Williams, and even when they try to mess him up, he still had 11 catches out of 12 targets, and he still had 19 points, even though they try to sabotage him. Javonte Williams is in play. Do not mess this up, Coach. We're watching you.
Ooh. Mighty words there from Willie Walls. Willie Walls is going to pay the coach a visit in the middle of the night. He's going to come in his fatigues out there and take Nathaniel Hackett
He's going to bring some milk and cookies.
He's going to pay him a visit there. All right, but let me ask you this one question about this game because I kind of like this game. I like the Russell Wilson game. I love Javonte. I can find some love for Judy or Sutton. I'm worried, though, because I think Davis Mills struggles against the defense that the Broncos play. So who can I bring back in this game, Willie? Can I bring back Cooks? Can I bring back Pierce?
Cook will be my guy to bring back. Cook.
Okay.
Doc, that's my concern, Doc. I think they're going to struggle. I'm telling you, I don't like a chair with one or two legs, and that's the problem with this game. Just like we talked about, or we'll probably talk about here again, another game that's going to take place this week where I'm not sure what's happening on the other side of the ball.
And I think that's so important that you raise that up, Swami, because I don't want people just to cash. I want people to win tournaments, to take down tournaments. And so there are pieces that I like in this game, but does the puzzle come together completely? Because if it doesn't come completely, you're not taking down the money. But I got a game for you, Swami. I think it is my game of the week. It is the Raiders against the Cardinals. I kind of love this game. I think it works both ways. It just, you know what? It just fits. It just fits for me, Swami. What about for you?
I think so, especially if they can get over 55 total in this game. I think both teams want to come back and prove that they're better than what they showed last week. I know the Raiders have been talking ball security all week. So I expect that Carr's going to protect the football, and I think they're going to come out and they're going to, likely give us some fantasy goodness. That's why I like a game like this, right? I can get behind both sides. I think if you ask me what my favorite parts were, I'm a Mr. Adams and those 17 targets. Come on, you get on the bus. Let me take Mr. Waller. Wouldn't be mad if you did him. Somebody said Jacobs, not my thing, but I'm not mad at that. And then I'm coming back with Mr. Ertz and Carr's my quarterback. I like that.
Now, can you flip that, Swami, and do a Kyler Murray stack or no?
That would absolutely be the GPP way to go after that stinker that they put on the field last week. And you could even, if I flip-flopped it, I guess, I don't know if I like the Hollywood Brown part of this again, Marquise Brown. I just am still salty from last week. But it's I heard you guys mention Dortch. Not mad at that. But I feel like for me it might be Ertz. And then I would probably take a flyer on Connor before I would go back with one of those other guys on the outside.
Willie, what about this game? This game, I think, works both ways. You can go Cardinals, you can go Raiders, you can mix Cardinals and Raiders. What you doing in this game?
You definitely want to look at Carr. I mean, Carr is ridiculous against cover one. Ridiculous quarterback against cover one. I mean, anytime somebody gets a 23% bump on cover one, you got to be interested. I mean, these stats are ridiculous. 9th drop back, completion 6th, 2nd, 4th, 1st, 5th, 10th. I mean, and the Cardinals are hurt. Their secondary is abysmal. You know, they got guys that are out. Listen, and then you got Devontae. Are you kidding me? 17 targets only, and they weren't even on the same page. 141 yards of the touchdown. And remember this dude against cover 1, 0.91 per target that he averages fantasy points, which is ridiculous. Listen, he is definitely in play. And you got Mr. Waller. You got to remember, Kansas City just roughed him up for 11 catches and 132 yards from their tight ends. So Mr. Waller's in play, and then even Mr. You saw what Kansas City did again on the run game. I don't like this guy, but I'm just saying I'm not mad at him, Mr. Jacobs. You know, because I'm not an Oakland guy. I'm not a Raiders guy, but he's in play. He is in play this game. So this game has fantasy goodness, and I tell you, I do like Jordan. I do like him, but I agree with Swami. I love Ertz. Ertz is a guy. He's healthy. He practiced all week, and I think that's a reasonable guy that you could bring it back with. I love him.
I am in on Ertz big time, and I'm out on Dortch, and I'm going to tell you why. You guys know that I'm the king of these wide receiver cornerback matchups. Nate Hobbs is a really good slot corner, and he's going to be on Dortch. And I think people are looking at Dortch from last week and thinking that they're going to get those numbers this week. And I worry about that. Ertz, man, is sliding under that radar. He was poo-poo on a stick last week. Nobody liked him, and now he's coming back. People aren't going to want to play him, and I think we're going to get some really good ownership on Ertz. I love that play under the radar. All right, let me give you another one here. The Rams are playing the Falcons. The Rams were embarrassed last week. Embarrassed. This game, what is it, a 28 spot? I think it could be a 38 spot. Willie, do you like the Rams, and is there anybody in the Falcons that you'll kick it back with, if at all?
I just say, this might be one of those things where you play him and you might not have to run nobody back. You know, one of those guys, because I've seen people take down GPPs that way because, you know, Henderson's is definitely in play. Kupp is good to eat him up. But then, you know, listen, Stafford, you know, this is the coverage that they run. You got to remember, last week Buffalo they were running a cover 1, and Buffalo is very talented. Okay, this team right here that they gonna play this week play a lot of man-to-man. Okay, and what does Mr. Robinson do? He plays well against man-to-man, and I tell you, he is definitely for me. I know I like Kupp, but I'm gonna be more interested in Mr. Robinson because I think they're gonna and the coach even admitted it. They're gonna scheme things for him, and I think Stafford was embarrassed. You know, with that last game that they had, even Higbee was playing. So this is definitely in play. I'm not saying I'm not big on Atlanta coming back, to be honest with you. I mean, you know, I just think this is where you can take pieces from this game, play it, and then I can just let it lie right there because I think everybody's going to chase that running back, you know, that went off, you know, for Atlanta, which I understand, you know, but the Rams have a better run defense, so I don't think it's going to be that way. So.
Never chased Cordell Patterson. I think that's super inconsistent. Swami, you like this game? You like Matthew Stafford in this one?
I don't like this game, but I like Matthew Stafford and I like the Rams. First thing I want to say is everybody was kind of, you know, talking about Allen Robinson, but I don't think so. I think a bad game for a receiver is maybe, you know, 3 drops or 4 drops, you know, something like that. A big drop that would have, you know, maybe gone for over 50 yards or a touchdown. I don't know if I can say you had a bad game if you had 2 targets, right? And you caught one of them. That's not who had a bad game might have been Matthew Stafford in the offense who were under some pressure, right? They were under some considerable pressure. I don't think they were able to get going. And that's what I think affected Robinson more than anything. It wasn't Robinson. We didn't know he was on the field most of the doggone game. Like, hey, where's Allen Robinson? Did he tweak something coming out the tunnel? We didn't see him. So again, I'm not putting that on Allen Robinson. No, sir.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say this: McVay he admitted that he messed up.
But 2 targets. I mean, I hear what he's saying, and I get it because people are coming down on him. Hey, where's Robinson? We paid him all this money. But if you don't even look at him, sir, I don't care who you are.
But I think I think in order for them to be, you got to remember when they were the most effective. Of course, Cup was involved, but at first it was Robert Woods with Cup, and then you had Odell Beckham that was doing the job with Cup. You know what I mean? You cannot just have it all on Cup. You can't be lopsided like that.
Can I ask you guys about Darrell Henderson? If we think that Matthew Stafford is going to air it out, we think he's going to go to Cup, we think he's going to go to Robinson, we think he's going to go to Higbee. How is there enough fantasy points, Swami, for Darrell Henderson? Are we missing the boat on this one, or are we overinflating what he's going to do?
I'm not very high on Henderson. I think that might even be the better part of that Falcons defense might be the front 7. But I think because of how lopsided I think the game might be, and so I can agree with Willie from that standpoint that I can see it when the defenses have their hands full trying to stop that passing attack. It just opened things up in a running game, and before you know it, Henderson's got this sneaky 30 carry game where he's got like 120 yards and 2 touchdowns, and that can win you a tournament. So I see what Walls is saying.
Well, if he gets that, then the pass receivers not going to be doing what they do.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
But what I can say about this is I think he's still in play because what do the Rams do? They don't split carries with these running backs. They focus on that running back and you the man. So he will get 82, 83% of the plus. What's the name is in the doghouse.
But he didn't say stack. He said he liked pieces in this game.
No.
That's why I agree with you.
I agree. No, I'm just saying. Listen, but I think they want to get Stafford going though, and I think if they get Stafford going, that will open it up for everybody else. So they first got to get right that ship and that line.
They will get Stafford going. Let's just be clear. Stafford will.
Right. He's going to have a game. He's going to have a game. All right. Let me ask you about the Panthers against the Giants. Mr. Barkley looked sensational last week, guys. Absolutely sensational. But I am not stacking the New York Giants. You can beg me. I'm not doing it. You can tell me Richie James. I'm not taking it. But I love me some Barkley, Willie Walls. Do I have to get him in the lineup? And then for Carolina, do we like CMC? Do we like DJ Moore? Do we like Robbie Anderson? What are we doing in this game?
Listen, everybody, listen up. We're going to explain some things. So we're about to do a tutorial, okay? This is what you have. You have 11 personnel. You have 12 personnel. You have 13 personnel. I hate when people say that and they don't explain it. But this is what we do on this show. We want to explain it to you. First of all, we're going to give you the 13 personnel. What that is that's 3 tight ends, a running back, and a receiver. What the dumb Denver Broncos should have used with Javonte Williams at the goal line. They should have shut it up. That's when you use the Herbert personnel. Then you have the 12 personnel. That's more balance. 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, and a back. That's 12. Then you have 11 personnel. This is where I give that coach scheming makes a difference. He schemed this. 11 personnel. They ran 84% of the time. And on that 11 personnel, there were 6 people in the box. Mr. Barkley's eyes get big. If the Detroit would have did that with Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith wouldn't have touched them. If they did the same thing. So you have 11 personnel. Barkley rushed for 11 carries, 155 yards, and had 129 yards and explosive yards. That means he had a 68-yard run and a 33-yard run. Listen, they schemed that, and I love that. So Barkley is definitely in play in this game. And then, now what people don't want to look at is, I know DJ Moore was poop the last game. He was horrible, terrible, and I don't really like playing this guy, but against cover 1, DJ Moore does well. He hit out of the last 3 years 42% of his production is on cover one. And guess what they run? Cover one. DJ Moore is one of those sneaky plays. So I love Barkley and DJ Moore going back and forth in this game.
All right, Swami. I'm going to ask you a different question. Trey Lance. This is a guy who is a difference maker. For people who might play some FanDuel as well, this guy can run touchdowns in, and touchdowns are hard to find on FanDuel. Do we like Trey Lance? Do we like Deebo Samuel? Do we want any part of the San Francisco 49ers offense, Swami?
I'm going to say this. I think anytime you got a quarterback who can go for 100 yards, I think you got something. So I told you the last time, Doc, it's two quarterbacks you can consider. You consider the 3-4 touchdown guy, and then you can consider the guy who can give you, 2 running and 2 passing. But Seattle defense still, they looked okay last week. I think they showed enough where, I'm not excited about the Lance play, but I'm not mad at it either. So while I think Deebo is a stud and you can always put him in there, I'm hoping Kittles could go. If his weapons are around him, then, like I said before, Doc, you can play the quarterback. Mitchell going down, Kittle not healthy, it's starting to change it a little bit, Doc, because now they're able to focus, I think, a little bit more on both Deebo and Lance, and that's the cause for Paul. That's a reservation that you're hearing for 2.
All right. So, Willie Walls, I'm going to give you a very, very crisp new $100 bill from the bank, and I want you to put that down on your favorite stack of the week. Where is that money going?
Oh, so now my favorite. Okay, my favorite stack of the week is going to be that Detroit game. It's going to be Detroit and the Commanders. I mean, that's my favorite stack of the week. Love them. Single stack. If I'm just doing one player a piece, it's going to be the Giants. And I told you with DJ Moore. And I'm gonna tell you something. Trey Lance is in play this game. He is in play. I did some digging on that. He is in play. I'm telling you, he's in play. That was a monsoon they were in that last game. He's not going to have ownership. I'm telling you, Shanahan's going to scheme some stuff. He is in play this game. And people not going to be looking at it. He's cheap. Everybody will be off of him. I would not be surprised if this boy come up with 28 to 30 points, and that'll be the type of guy that will break the slate, and you can play all those other guys around him. You don't necessarily have to stack. You can play Deebo, whatever, and you can go play all your other guys around it, and that might take down the tournament.
Swami, what are you doing with your one stack for $100?
Since Walls already stole my Commanders stack, I'm going to go with the Derek Carr, Adams, Waller come back with Ertz with that $100. And while I don't disagree, I think he'll probably have a very similar game to the one he put up there, which wasn't bad, right? Where I think he had 2 touchdowns, he had 157 yards passing and 41 rushing, somewhere in there he had 20. Lance, again, I just feel like I told you, Walls, when they don't have the weapons around them, it sometimes makes it difficult for them to get there. If his guys were healthy, I would really like him in this game. But anyway, Doc, I'm going with that Raiders stack.
All right, I'm going to shock the world, and I'm going to go with the Buccaneers Saints stack. I'm going to go with a little Brady, Leonard Fournette, Evans come back with Mike Thomas as stack. And when it hits, I expect an apology from both of you guys next week. And you say, Doc, you are absolutely right.
I will be here, Doc.
We will give you 30 push-ups a piece.
You will be my rich friend.
Yeah, you will be the rich friend. If that hits,
I will be my own rich friend. All right, I need the balls to the calls Walls from Willie Walls there. Give me a guy.
I was going to, since you gave me that little information on Mr. Dort, so I'm going to go different. I'm going to go for a coach finally coming to a senses. Stop being a dum-dum. This guy finally is going to get 65% of the offense, including goal line. And I think that Mr. Javonte Williams is going to break off a couple of big runs in this game. And then that might put Mr. Gordon finally in the past the way he belongs to be retired. I think this is a Javonte Williams come out party. Don't be dumb, coach. Make it happen. When you get to the goal line, stepping heavy personnel. Javonte Williams is going to go off this game.
All right, Swami. Swami says what?
Swami says that was awful. That is not a balls to the walls. Did you just give that chalk play and call that ball
He's not
to the
chalk.
walls? Don't let him get away
He's
with
not
it.
chalk. He's not chalk.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Excuse me. All right. DJ Moore. DJ Moore was awful. Okay.
That's acceptable.
DJ Moore.
Acceptable. Okay. My goodness. Okay. My chalk play, Doc. This was going to blow you away. Devontae Adams. He's going to light it up. Swami said it's been a revelation.
Oh, hell no. You can't put them in the same thing.
It's been a revelation. Break out the chalkboard. Oh, Willie.
I heard you good. I heard you good. Yeah.
No, Doc, I think I still want to go with my Peoples Jones. I think he can find himself a one-on-one against Sauce or somebody else. And I think it'll give him some opportunities for at least a big play, if not two. I think last week he got quite a few targets to the tune of, 11? Yeah, that's not bad. 11 targets, 6 receptions. So if he's going to be involved like that, they're going to give him that many opportunities for a home run. I think I like my chances with Peoples Jones.
All right, I'm going to give you my chalk play as Saquon Barkley. I heard he's good. He might be decent at the game of football. And I'm going to give you Ashton Doolin, some random dude from the Colts. But you got Pittman not at 100%. You got Alec Pierce not playing. And you got Paris Campbell kind of sucking at football. So I'm going to roll with Ashton Doolin and see whether $3,200 might fit everybody's lineup. All right, guys, time now to put away those insurance cards, put away those copay. What do we say? We say be well and what?
Take care.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.